All right, everyone, welcome to the Symphony of Truth. And today, a very special welcome to you, Rolf. Welcome in this space. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the invitation. I feel honored and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and before I want to, invite you, of course, to introduce yourself a bit to the audience. I would love to do a little attunement as usual. And yeah, just invite everyone to, close your eyes. And if you want to, you can put your hand on your belly to arrive in this sacred space and to breathe into your body. And just feel this breath moving gently and naturally. We are going to create a contemplative state together. Richard says to enter into contemplation is as easy as smiling. So let's just smile. Just give yourself a smile. And even if you don't feel like smiling, maybe just imagine the energy of a smile. This warm radiance deep in your body. Take it into every cell, bath in it. Feel it moving deeply into your soul. This compassionate, warm radiance. Let it find its way into your being. And maybe you realize some place of resistance or discomfort in your body. A place where you feel stuck or some tension, some darkness. Just allow this warm energy of the smile to seek inside of you where there is not so much of a smile, where the light wants to find the darkness. And bring this smile to this inner dark spot. Just wrap the light around it. Don't put pressure on this darkness, but just encircle it. Just embrace it. There is no agenda. The light is not trying to erase the darkness or to make the darkness smile. It's not judging. It's not trying to change this darkness. It's just present. It's just there. Feel into this perfect balance that simply is, without pressure. And keep breathing. Feel the waves of your breath coming and going naturally and gently. In contemplation, this smiling energy is the pause. It's the very beginning of contemplation. So whenever we come to something that we don't like, that we don't understand, that scares us maybe, that triggers us, we can simply pause and look at it with compassion and gentleness. And patiently wait with our awareness. Maybe take another little step to look into this darkness, like a curious, innocent child. become open for what this darkness wants to show us. It's the pause that gives us space inside us just to be. We are creating inner space. This is the magic of contemplation. So if you feel ready, you can slowly come back into this room and open your eyes.
Nice.
Let's look into the treasure box of the art of contemplation. Yeah, so welcome again, Rolf. And I really am curious to hear who you are, what you are doing, how you met the Gene Keys, maybe. Just feel free to share.
Yeah. Well, my name is Rolf, originally German, but almost for 30 years now I live in Australia. And I'm a husband, father, grandfather, and I call myself a coach, mentor, guide for transformational processes. I've been doing that for the last 30 years. And for me, it's all about self-inquiry, self-knowledge, and self-awareness. And I call it inner work, what I do, inner work. And my motto is the only way out is in. And when I say out of suffering or out of sense of feeling lost. So I think it's important to embark on a journey of inner work, working with oneself and on oneself, and asking the question, like the three main questions for me: who am I? Why am I here? And how can I find lasting peace and happiness? And that for me means inner work. You know, I do individual sessions. I've got an online program. I do webinars. I write podcasts. I do videos and meditations. I've written some ebooks. And my journey with the Gene Keys began actually in 2009. Before that, I think 1959, I started studying A Course in Miracles and following Eckhart Tolle, J. Krishnamurti, Rupert Spira. And then in 2007, I came across the human design system. And a little bit later, I became aware of integral human design, where Richard worked together with Werner Pitzau and Andreas Eppard in Austria. And then in 2009, Richard brought out his first book, The Gene Keys, and I ordered it straight away. And I began my journey in 2009 with the Gene Keys. First only for myself, but then I realized it's such a fantastic tool to help people to realizing who they are, because it's a very individual journey into one's own triggers and shadow aspects. So, and in 2019, I started the journey as a Gene Keys ambassador, and been part of the hosting team with the Gene Keys online retreats. I've done 3 activation retreats, the Venus retreat and the latest Pearl retreat, online retreat. I do also host open calls in Australia. I'm also part of the German speaking Gene Keys community. And so when I talk about inner work, for me, I worked out that there are collective shadows, and the 3 main collective shadows are victimhood, which is based on the belief that we are powerless victims of a heartless system, and it's a constant dynamic of blaming and complaining. And the second collective shadow aspect I call separation, or the belief in fragmentation. There's a sense of lack and inadequacy, and one is constantly resisting what is and seeking what is not. That's the ego, a separate mind dynamic. And then there's the collective shadow I call forgetting. We forgot who we are. We have forgotten who we truly are. And it's so deeply ingrained in the belief in materialism that we really believe that we share the limits and the destiny of the body and the mind. You believe, well, that's it, I'm the body, and therefore we constantly need to defend it. Or, best defense is attack, so attack, defense. Blaming, complaining, seeking, resisting. That's a dynamic I feel it's so important to dive into, to investigate. And then even on an individual level, my go-to tool is the gene keys. That's what I work with, and I encourage people to get their profiles. And then, of course, I do an orientation session if people want. And there I explain the basics. But then the way I work with the gene keys is it's more an investigative journey. It's more inquiring and not so much a reading. Reading has its place, but for me, it's more like when I do a reading, I'm performing and the other is consuming. And that's fine. That's nothing wrong with this. But the way I want to work is, asking questions, investigate, inquire. And when I work with, let's say, starts with the shadow, and let's say we use an example here of my gene key 3, and I have it twice in my profile. I have it in my radiance in the 6th line, the shadow of chaos, gift of innovation, and the city of innocence. And I have also have it in my EQ, my emotional quotient, in the 5th line. And together, the 3 and the 60, from human design, that's the channel of mutation. It's change management. How do I deal and how do I learn to deal with mutations and change? And I think it's so relevant at the moment. Look at our global situation. We're going through some major shifts. And how can we navigate through those times and trying to change something on the outside? It's fine too. We need to do that too. But I think most importantly, out of contemplation, we need to stop and rest and pause and say, what has this to do with me? Where's my aspect? Where's my part in all of this? And the way we perceive reality is through thinking and imagining, which let's call it the mind. It's through sensing and feeling, let's call it the body. And it is through perceiving, let's call it the world. And that's all we know. That shapes our day-to-day experience. Yeah. So when I work with someone, we have a look at the shadow, and then I'll ask, okay, how is this shadow aspect showing up in your life? Let's say chaos. Where's chaos showing up in your life? And I use what I call 3-2-1 process. And I focus first on perceiving of the world. Where do I see it? What do you hear in the world? What do people say to you? Where do you see the shadow of chaos in the world? Okay, so and then there is a pause and we investigate. Okay, I hear it in the news, I hear it on the radio, I hear it in the newspaper, people talking about, disruption of food chains, for example, and all this. Okay, yeah, fine. I hear you. And then we bring it closer. Okay, what is your mind? What are your pictures in your mind talking to you about the shadow of chaos? Oh, I've got those pictures about, can't feed myself, or losing my job, or I can't travel. Okay, bring it even closer. Sensing, feeling. What does it do to your body? Can you name some feelings? Can you feel, oh, I've got a knot in my stomach when I feel about I can't travel to Germany, as an example, you know, and it's just really makes me upset, and I'm frustrated and sometimes even angry. And, you know, this is how I dive into the shadow aspect. And it's nothing to get rid of, nothing to judge. We don't have an agenda. It is what is, not resisting what is. We just look at it, like Richard says, allow, embrace, allow, accept, embrace, sorry. So it's this allowing and looking at it, and then, okay, we shift the pivot. There's the pause. It connects the shadow for me, connects with the pausing. It's about mindfulness and going within and allowing what's happening, and then we pivot towards the gift. Okay, what's the gift? Innovation. Okay, and then we can investigate further. Well, how can I manifest my creative potential of innovation? What can we do right now? How can you take care of yourself? What is your vision? How can you relate to innovation? Does it make sense? What have you done so far? What else could you do? So it's an investigative process. Then how I then encourage people to work with their gifts. And then the city for me, it's not so much we focus on or work with. For my understanding, the city just shows up when you're ready. It's that divine aspect that needs to have a fertile ground. And when I integrate and transcend my fears and my shadows and my triggers and truly embrace and allow them, then I'll work on my creative potential. And then eventually there's an epiphany. There's, oh, what was that? Oh, innocence. Oh, so the city of the third gene key is innocence. What does it mean? When does it show up? Have you ever felt it? How does it feel like? So that's how I work with the gene keys when I work someone one-on-one, and it takes time, it takes commitment, it takes patience, gentleness. You know, the gene keys approach. It doesn't happen overnight, and I'm just a guide or companion. I'm not trying to teach or tell people I should do this or do this. I'm just holding their hands. I walk side by side, and people need to explore and find out what it means for them, because it's their profile. It's not mine. I cannot tell them anything. I'm just encourage them to dive deep and feel it and investigate, and even write in a diary. I've written heaps of diaries for myself, and it's just a way to further embody it and get in touch with what's really deep down in one's being. You did a nice contemplation, nice at the beginning, and I recently heard someone saying, what does contemplation mean? And it comes from the word contemplum. And it means that's something you do in a temple. So our inner temple, we don't come into a temple to chatter, to talk. We come to a temple to be silent, to be quiet, to be still and know the I am presence, know that I am that I am. So that is for me in a nutshell the meaning of contemplation. And then Richard puts it so beautifully with the art of pausing and pivoting and merging. So pausing for me is that allowing to sink into that deeper and wider field of awareness, connecting with the zero field, if you want, connecting with pure presence, with that knowing pure presence. And yeah, through this observing presence, I let what wants to emerge, and I express it, and I have a meaningful dialogue with someone. It's about mindfulness too. And the pivoting for me is then the accepting what is. So first it's the pausing, goes with the allowing. The pivoting goes with the accepting, and the merging goes with embracing. And through pivoting, I then pivot or shift my awareness towards accepting my creative potential. And when I talk about manifestation or creative potential, for me it's a spontaneous crystallization of my divine aspect. It's not really a willful act. If I'm open and let myself be guided, it becomes a spontaneous crystallization of spirit. It's the way I see the meaning of pivoting. So it's about joyful creating, or joyfully co-creating this pivoting away from. But it goes always backwards and forwards. It's not like sometimes people think, oh, I can never get to my gift. I'm always stuck with the shadow, and it's just holding me back, and I can never be innovative. And so you always go backwards and forwards. It's a field of frequencies. It goes back and forth and up and down. It's never finished. You're never done with the shadow. It's impossible. You're not done with it. It's part of your being. Just be thankful for it, because for me it's a trigger, a reminder, a tip on the shoulder. Hey, have a look over there. What else is there?
Yeah.
And so it's about joyfully co-creating. And then the merging is, for me, it's the merging then with unlimited ever-presence awareness, whatever emerges in the moment, because everything arises out of this ever-present unlimited awareness. So the merging is this merging with all that is, with all that I am. And also sometimes I call it the pull of grace. The city is the pull of grace, or in religious term, the call of God, because it's constantly calling us. And it's in Gene Key's terms, it's the city. The city is grace, or God calling us home. Remember who you are. There's not so much something we can work with, it just happens spontaneously. You cannot say, well, work with my shadows. I've done with my shadows. Now I'm into my gift, and now where's the city? Now I'm constantly in innocence. What does it mean? We cannot be constantly. I mean, we can endeavor to be more and more aware, consciously aware of awareness. In the end, it's awareness of being aware of itself. It's just so there's not much work to do with the city. For me, the work, if you could call that, it's with the gift. It's with my creative potential. How can I put this into some joyful creation and have my contribution to the world, have my sense of service, what I can give to the world. I have got the fourth line in my life's work, so service. So I really feel I'm here to offer a service, to offer not from myself, but from what wants to manifest itself through this vehicle. And yeah, so the shadow shadow goes with the pausing. It's about mindfulness, the way I talk to people and about shadow and gift. The gift is about pivoting. It's about this joyful co-creation. And the city goes with the merging, and it's about, that aspects of my divine creativity show up when it's ready. Yeah, that's sort of in a few words how I work with the gene keys.
Yeah, you put it beautifully. I mean, it's so important, really. What I found to be really important is not to see it as a linear process, you know, like I come from A and I want to go to Z, but that this is just, you know, it's a play, it's a game, it's the game of life. And it's so beautiful that you were speaking about the third gene key, you know, this innocent child that kind of, you know, it built something out of nothing. And then, you know, it's, you know, doesn't want to go on with it. So it kind of destroys everything and starts anew from the chaos of what is, right? And so it's a bit like unlearning, right? You accompany people to unlearn all the structures of the mind and all this busyness, maybe, to kind of calm down and to become patient. That was my biggie, you know, as a manifestor in human design. It's this busyness and always innovating, you know, to really calm down and allow myself to pause and to rest and to be patient with myself. And I see this in many people, you know, in this busy world, that it's all about kind of relaxing into beingness.
Yes, into being, yes. Because we are human beings, not human doings.
Right.
Doing is fine. Doing has its place. Structure has its place. We need structure, you know. We need the thinking mind in order to function in this three-dimensional play. That's all good. But if we only emphasize our focus and our energies on this reality, then it seems like the mind gets stuck. And then through this stuckness, we create suffering and pain, and, you know, and then people looking for the solutions in this field, in this external field, without realizing that it's all coming from here. This age of materialistic or atheistic materialism, the way I call it, is like, it's not seeing that consciousness is the root of all creation. It's not matter. You know, scientists saying, oh, the hard question of consciousness and how can the brain create consciousness? It's totally backward thinking. And you mentioned again the Gene Key 3, the way I see it, or the way I saw it first, like, and talking about the innocence of children, you know, when you come into a child's room and they're playing and their toys and stuff everywhere, you know, the adult's rational mind thinks, oh gosh, what a chaos, look at the mess. But the children are just innocently playing and doing their stuff, and as I said, they build something and then they destroy it, and then it's just a game for them. But they're so in the moment, it's not chaos for them, it's just this innovation. Or what else can we build on? Let's do something over here, let's kick this over. Oh, that was fun, let's do it again. And I think we adults, we have to sometimes go back to this pure innocence, this chaos, innovation, innocence. It's all one. It's nothing separate. It's it belongs together. Even now, if you look at the global situation, you know, this chaos, and I think, well, yeah, it's true. It feels chaotic. It feels painful. It feels we don't know what's going on. We don't know where we go. And yes, there's pain and restrictions, even disaster in some countries, and it's all part of it. It's all part of our waking up collectively as a human species to move up to our next level, next level of evolution. And we can try to. We just had elections here in Australia, you know. Federal election. So
I read your post about it. Yeah.
Yes. So people can hope for the better when they now elect a different party, or no, everything will change. No, don't don't even think about this. This got nothing to do with electing some leaders, or sometimes I call them misleaders. Yes, so it's so important to come back to do inner work, and the gene keys for me, it's just the perfect tool to really work with oneself on my own individual stuff.
Yeah, and what I love about it is that I'm really called to take full responsibility for everything. And it's, as you said, we're not kind of looking out there for someone to save us or to save the world. But it's really like accepting, allowing, and embracing what is, and to feel into it, to truly feel it, and to sit with it, to allow myself to just be in it. We're so distracted by everything, and presence is just something that, most people can't even experience. It's like there is this busyness, and we're always distracted by whatever is, going on in our lives. And it's really, it needs kind of a training. And this is why I'm so grateful for all the guides and ambassadors, that really take people by the hand to kind of guide them back to this beautiful space, or into this space of allowing themselves to just be. We can't find the answers, in this mind or out there in the world. And we truly have to relearn that, or to remember it, right?
Yes, absolutely. That is so important. Patience, and then allowing oneself to pause, to stop, just stop for now. You just said this and this and this, and just let's look at it. What do you mean by this? Where does it come from? What does it do with you? Yeah, taking this moment of mindfulness and really sinking, or allowing oneself and retraining oneself to not be distracted, as you said, and just focus on what is right now, right here, because that's all there is right now, right here. There's no tomorrow, there's no over there. Our experience is always here and now. And yes, we have to unlearn to be distracted. But that's, that's also collective conditioning and programming, always a quick fix and solution, and buy more, do more, be more.
Yes, these hierarchies, right? It's this old structure of hierarchies where we try to get somewhere, and where we can't just be in this anarchic field of everyone being okay, exactly the same place and time, and and just to embrace this as well, and acceptance for others, where they are at on their path.
Yeah, absolutely. It's redefining who we really are. And letting go our attachments to things, to ideas, beliefs, even relationships if they're toxic. And but even heal first with the gene key is a perfect tool to heal oneself, to become one again. And if I radiate this wholeness and this inner health, or completeness, or sense of being okay with who I am, that of course radiates, and that alone is a service to humanity. Of the best service to humanity we can all do is like knowing who we are. Knowing who we are, and stop blaming, complaining, just self-responsibility. Perfect, what you said before. Being able to respond. For me, it's the meaning is I'm able to respond rather than react. And when I'm able to respond from moment to moment, knowing who I am, it's totally different to reacting all the time to outside triggers. And trying to fit in, trying to fit in and fulfill certain goals, and I have to achieve this and have to achieve that. Nothing wrong with achievement, by the way. That's all good. There's no judgments, no agendas. Everything is the way it is, and it's the way it is, and it's good the way it is. Doesn't look like it on the surface. If you look at it from this perspective, it looks like pain and destruction. But from the bigger picture, the only thing that really is happening is we waking up.
Yeah.
On
And it's a
an
painful
individual.
process sometimes,
It
you know,
is.
it needs this, maybe, you know, to feel it truly in our body, you know, this cracking open. I mean, how can
Yeah.
this happen like without any kind of pain? I always remember, you know, giving birth. It's like the same thing, or giving birth to a new world. How could this happen without any pain? I mean, or just, you know, some kind of feeling in your body that is intense. I mean,
Yes.
giving birth is not always that painful, but there is
That's
something breaking through, you know.
Yes, yes. Like the butterfly or dragonfly, you know, they go through painful processes until they spread their wings and off they go.
Yeah.
They don't question the process, but even questioning it, it's okay too. And even don't wanting to feel the pain, not wanting or running away or trying to fix it. And in the past, we had so many therapies like, oh, let's get rid of this, and this is not right. And even that was okay. That was fine. I think we're moving into an age of more awareness, and more people are waking up. So the Gene Keys are here for perfect timing, so people can use this valuable tool to know who they truly are. It's so individual and so perfect. Yeah.
And also what comes to mind is, you know, that we don't see this process as a way of, I want to find an answer, you know, I want to give myself the answer, who I am, but I'm open to experience my whole incarnation long what it means to be in this question. You know, that's what it feels to me. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. The mind wants to know, the body needs comfort. The body wants comfort, the mind wants to know. There's this constant looking for answers, looking for solutions. But what if there is no solution? What if there's no answer? How does it feel to sit in this uncertainty, to sit in, oh, I don't know what's going on. There's a surrender. Yeah. And I've been through things through my life where I wanted to have a solution, this and this, but through painful processes and painful experiences, I had to learn to just not giving up. It's totally different, but to surrender and just, I don't know what to do anymore. It's just, I'll let go. Yeah. And then slowly things sort of fall into place, and I then thought, where did that come from? And it works perfectly. I had to learn for myself to, not always, not perfectly, but what it means to surrender and just, I don't know. I take my hands off the steering wheel. I don't know where am I going. Just let the car go. Yeah, not having the answers, and to realize that the thinking mind wants answers all the time. But once I allow myself to sink back in this wider field of just pure presence or being, you know, the need for answers is just disappears. And of course they pop up again later. That's fine. That's all. But the more I practice sitting in presence, sometimes I can do it for hours, not doing anything. And I sat by the beach in full moon, it's just sitting there, just soaking it all in. And it's just a practice or process I can highly recommend to just sit with whatever is, because it is already anyway. Why do you want to change already what is? It's here. It's just be with it. If there's chaos in your life, breathe in, soak it all in. It's here for a reason. Don't fight.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we would create even more chaos when we try to resist it, when we try to fight against it, you know, it's kind of boosting the whole thing, you know. So letting go for me, it really means like, let it be, you know, like,
Yes.
yeah, I mean,
Yes.
we've
Yes.
said this, but we can't even say this often enough, you know, be present, just be and be with it and feel it. Allow yourself to
Yes.
feel it, you know, feelings they don't kill you, you know, they are
No.
there for a
No.
reason. And only if I can feel
Yes.
myself and my body, I can receive the answers, you know. And as we, or
Yes.
as you said before, you know, this silence, it's my life's work, the 24th. So the
Nice.
silence of the mind, you know, just allowing creativity to come from this nothingness, because there is no other space where creativity could come from, or innovation. It needs
Exactly.
silence and this void, you know,
Yeah.
to just appear. Yeah.
And anyone can do it.
Mm.
Anyone can. We don't need to have special skills or training. Anyone, anybody can just sit and pause and breathe, even if it's only for a minute.
Yeah.
And start with a minute or two. Just allow and breathe. Focus on your breath, and just be and see what happens. And then when I talk about meditation, sometimes people say, well, I can't meditate because my mind is so busy, it goes on all the time, I can't stop thinking. And I say, well, of course you can't stop thinking. Who is it that would stop thinking? Who is that entity? Can you find it? I mean, thought appears and disappears, and it's a train of thoughts come and go. Those come and go. They go in and out. They talk about this. They talk about this, and just be aware of it. That's all. That's meditation. Just be aware of what's going on.
Same with feelings, right? When people try to change the way they feel, I'm not allowed to be this or that, you know, like angry or sad, or I should be happy all the time, or whatever. Yeah.
That's one of the things, like the question, who am I? Okay, I'm unlimited ever-present awareness. Why am I here? To wake up. How can I find lasting peace and happiness? Non-resistance. Absolute non-resistance. Be the change you want to see in the world, like Gandhi said. Just no resistance, no agenda, no promotion, not promoting anything, no agenda. It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. It doesn't mean I just sit in the chair all day and I'm not doing anything, and I'll let everything happen. If there's a need for action, there's a need for action. I need to do something, and I can say no, which is, from my point of view, it's a highly spiritual word. Most people don't allow themselves to say no. They think I need to allow everything. No, that doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean that. Sometimes no is the most kindest word you can say. Stop. No. This is not okay. So allowing or non-resistance doesn't mean I'm not active, I'm not doing things. When I need to do things, I'm guided to do things, I do things. It's perfectly okay. But we need, as I said, instead of reacting, we need to learn to respond and be responsible, able to respond. If I know who I am, I know who you are. And the one thing we have in common is our beingness, our presence. That's where we are one. I'm aware and present, you are aware and present, everyone else is. That's our shared being, that's our oneness. We are not one on the level of the mind and the body, obviously not. So this is something we can all realize right here, right now. That leads us to self-awareness. You know, through self-inquiry is the shadow work. Self-knowledge then is the gift level, and self-awareness is the city. I'm aware that I'm aware. Awareness is aware that it is aware in this form at the moment.
Yeah. And I also feel this quality of trust, you know, really trusting life, trusting that everything is all right. Because
Yeah.
I think this fear and all these shadow frequencies, they can be pretty strong, and we forget that, just by being, we prosper, like Richard puts it, or like the saying is that I am, that's why I prosper, or therefore I prosper.
Yes.
We forget to see this gift and to trust life as the greatest gift of all, with all its facets, with everything that is, which of course it can show up like something painful or hard, but we can trust this process because we have already experienced that it comes and it goes, right? Nothing stays forever. And
Exactly.
to kind of let yourself flow, it can be so joyful and easy. Very often I think people think that it's hard, that it's difficult to do that, but it's more difficult from my experience to kind of try to attach to things and to hold things to keep it, and it's like building a dam in this river, which kind of, keeps the river from flowing when I try to hold on to something.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, trust is a big one. Even for me, it was a big one for many years. But through surrender, I had to learn to trust. And the more I trusted, the more I learned to surrender. Then, things fall into place, and I gave up to be in control. Not always, obviously, but wanting to have the answers, or wanted to have it my way, and this shouldn't happening. And so this is how I've also learned to trust life, to see and to believe in the bigger picture. And I don't know what this is happening. No, I don't know what this is for. I just leave it. And through, again, pausing and breathing and trying to connect with that, what is happening, and I'm resisting and feeling it, allowing to feel it, and to ask, why is this happening? Not to get rational answers, but to have a feeling, to allow it to talk to me. The same for like symptoms. If someone is sick and suffering symptoms, that's a difficult topic, and I'm not saying suffering or pain, it's we need to deal with it. No one wants to be in pain. But if we have a moment, instead of running to the doctor, nothing wrong with going to the doctor again, but most people with the slightest symptom, doctor, I've got this, I don't like it, give me something to make it go away. Instead of pausing, breathing, why is this happening? Why is this happening now? What does it want to tell me? What do I need to change? Self-responsibility. What can I do? What is my part in it? Especially when it comes to health. And I've been promoting that for years because I'm a health practitioner too. And just encouraging people to take not only self-responsibility for their thinking, for their mind, for their feelings, but also for their body and their lifestyles. So important. And then investigating, okay, this symptom, what is it telling me and why is it happening? So I can get many answers if I allow the symptom and ask the symptom, what do you want to tell me? What's going on? What's happening with my lifestyle, with my thinking, with my stress levels, with my mental emotional state? What happened in my relationship? So the body is just something that tells you constantly what's going on in your life. And that's also something we need to learn, to listen to the body again, to listen to the messages, because they are there for a reason, like anything else in life, especially bodily symptoms. Yeah.
Just wanted to say, listening is a big one. It's like trust. Listening. This is my radiance, by the way, the 13th. So to be present and to listen, and not just to others. I mean, this is what comes from it, you know, that you open up and just without having to, you know, I'm a teacher. I was a teacher before. And my job, of course, was to kind of know the answers and give the answers. And it felt so wrong. It felt so wrong that I had no time to just listen to the children and to give them time and space to find their own answers, you know. And that's when I quit the system then, because it didn't feel right. And now I enjoy this so much, you know, with clients, just being present. And as you said, to listen and to ask questions so that they are invited to listen within and give themselves time to, for this inquiry and to just be with it, to sit with it. Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful. And again,
that's
there's
what I
patience,
like.
right?
Yes, patience and trust. And that's what I like about the community calls when we have the online retreats with the Jinkies. Because in the community calls, we learn to listen. You know, we give each other the space and the time so they can fully express and share what they want to share without interrupting, without giving advice, without being the therapist. And, you know, it's just, you can share whatever you want. There's no response from me. That's the way the community calls are set up anyway. And so that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's always creating a field of communion and union and appreciation. And people feel listened to. So I would encourage anyone in the future, if there are online retreats, the Jinkies, go and join and come to the community calls and experience what's going on there and feel the connections and the trust, the mutual trust we build during those calls. It's really something special.
Definitely. Yeah. And it's this feeling of being in this together as well. And that this victimization that you spoke about, you know, it's really replaced by, you feel free in there. You feel absolutely free to share whatever you are, whoever you are, whatever comes to mind or whatever you feel. Everything is allowed and everything is embraced by the whole space, by the field. And you know, just being witnessed. This is so precious. So definitely everyone join the next retreats, and also on Clubhouse, you know, it's an amazing space. You can't see the other person and it's just listening, and it's so precious. I wouldn't have expected it, but when I totally love it. It's amazing.
I haven't made it to Clubhouse yet.
Yeah. Oh, you should do that. It's really, it's an incredible space.
Yes, I will.
Yes. Rolf, is there anything that you feel we haven't talked about that you want to share that feels?
No, not. I think we talked about almost anything that I had in mind, you know, contemplation and the art of contemplation, the third Jinki, the way I work with the shadow gift, the city, and I combine it with this non-dual approach and a little bit of human design, not so much human design. Human design is interesting too. There I combine the energy centers with, if you're familiar with spiral dynamics or Ken Wilber, because for me that has a correlation too, and I can see where someone is in that, on those levels or stages of development, or so that's something I include too. But that's my main, that's my passion for the last 25 years, and that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm called to do. That's what I'm doing. And I've got the 56, Jinki 56 in my life's work, the shadow of distraction. I've been distracted for a long time.
It's in my pearl, I feel it. But, you know, my pearl, I left her. It's like, I didn't feel the calling to kind of dive into it. I was so happy when Richard said, well, just leave her there, you know. I was like, okay, this will come at one point, maybe.
Yeah. When it's there, and you know it. And then, we dive into it.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Well,
I thank you so much for your time and for your presence and everything you shared, and for the work you do, of course. And it's so important,
My
as you
pleasure.
said, in times like these, to having someone with this third gene key who knows, you know, what you're talking about.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you very
No,
much.
thank you. Thank you very, very much. And I really enjoyed talking to you. Love your work too. And yeah, I'm so happy to be part of this community. And I know we do something amazing to help this birth of this new consciousness.
Yeah.
Great to be
Beautiful
part of
last
it.
word. Let's birth consciousness. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to everyone
Thank
out
you.
there, hope to see you next time. Have a beautiful day, night, wherever you are. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.